What's going on, everybody? This is your host, Gilly the Guru, coming live from the Press Box, episode 18. Coach G, what up?
Yeah, I was watching the Stanley Cup Finals. Pretty hype.
Stanley Cup Finals?
Yeah.
Was it the Panthers, right?
Panthers and Oilers. Pretty crazy. They said that Florida, the last 7 years, had a team in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Beach City, Beach State.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But man, I was just thinking when they were playing or they're lining it up today, and one team was on a power play, team was losing. The face-off. That's a skill right there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's just what strong hands, quick hands,
eye coordination, all that is.
And just seeing that ball or that puck drop,
yeah,
and then bam, you shoot it back.
How would you compare that to a tip-off? Would you call that a skill too? Or does it seem like they don't even really try?
Yeah, the tip-off seems just whoever's the tallest, right?
Yeah, but obviously you have your two tallest going at it.
Yeah, but sometimes, rarely do you see every time there's a jump ball, it's never like the same guy where I can't wait to see this tip-off. So, yeah, I think they should just, get rid of the tip-off, but you can't. But
you think so?
Yeah, the tip-off is just, whatever.
Yeah.
Wherever the ball bounces. Oh, I guess there is a little art to when you're tipping it to your guy.
Because they have them spaced out a certain way. You see people directing, you go there, you go there.
Yeah, you're right. There is an art. Because that's just like how the ball bounces off the rim and somehow they're able to somehow nick it in the way of the hoop and somehow it gets in.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely an art, but I want to say the face-off is a little bit more, like you said, hand coordination, eye coordination, strong hands, quick hands.
Yep.
Somehow footwork's got to have something to do with it. I guess it's the same, but
I think it's all the footwork too and the positioning, right? Because when they get the puck, you see them put the foot in a certain way, and so it's kind of like blocking momentum and yeah. But you know what? Let's talk about that Tyrese Halliburton game 1.
Damn,
that was some shit, man.
It's I don't is it gonna be a one-hit wonder? Because the line I sent you yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. I hit 2 out of 4. The 2 that I missed was 1 point away
and 2 points away.
And 2 points away. And 90% of that game, they were on their way to cover that.
Yeah.
And 90% of the game, Pascal, is that right?
Yeah.
He was going to cover.
Yep.
And Halliburton has 3 points the whole game. And there's 2 minutes, there's 5 minutes left. I go to the backyard, come back, and those are green? What did he do? What did I miss? What did he do to score 14 points in 2 minutes? Because I missed the end of the game. To me, it's kind of a little lackluster here.
Yeah.
I'm not really pumped up to watch it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people aren't really pumped up to watch it. I think a lot of people tuned in more to game 2 because of game 1.
Yeah.
Because of, what happened. And no matter if there's been a lead, Pacers have been the team to come back and destroy everybody's dreams with that lead.
Yeah.
But, by the looks of it, they have no answer for SGA.
Yeah.
Could that after watching that game yesterday, could that be the only game that the Pacers win? Pretty damn right on point. It could be the only game that they won.
Yeah.
They barely won. You know what I mean? It's not like they blew them out.
Which one? The Pacers game that they barely won?
Yeah. Game one.
Yeah.
So, just going back and reviewing that, because even in that game, SJ still had a good game. You know what I mean? And but I think they all played better as a team yesterday. They're 1-1 going back to Indiana. Going to be a rocking atmosphere in Indiana. Could momentum could shift that way because of the crowd. But just after yesterday though, I just didn't really see the Pacers.
Maybe there was no urgency because they stole one.
Yeah,
they stole one, and because even just kind of watching it from the side, moving around, watching the game. I'm thinking if the Pacers are going to win one in Indiana, right? So they're going to come back 2-2. Is it just going to be, like they barely win it, and then the next game, OKC blows them out. Yeah. But it's like, if that's what it is, you go back to OKC, and now it's a 3-game series.
Yeah.
And just, hey, because, this is one of those where this is an upset. It's going to be a major upset if these guys are able to pull it off.
Yeah.
But
I think that's why we talked about last podcast. Like, if it is 1-1, it is kind of something to talk about a little bit going back to Indy.
Yeah.
But, yesterday just wasn't really promising for them. It's kind of what Oklahoma City does. They blow teams out and get on them early, and they just tight chokehold the rest of the game. You know what I mean? And that's what we witnessed yesterday. They were doing that in game 1. Mm-hmm. Then last couple minutes, here comes Halliburton and his team firing away.
Yeah.
But I think if they cut down OKC from getting on these big leads early, they can have a chance. But I just don't see them keep on falling behind like that and coming back every single time. Because obviously your team's gonna get tired, right? Your main stars are gonna get tired because they're playing so much, playing so hard. And it seems like Oklahoma City's out just coasting.
There's like just so many miracles you can make. And with OKC, like they've proved it all year.
Yeah.
Proved it all year, just dominating. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they're able to pull it off because Carlisle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a good coach.
Yeah.
Where they're obviously here for a reason, so can they outcoach? Can they outcoach the OKC guys and just somehow, get hot at the right game, stick around, be annoying, and then all of a sudden it's game 7 with 5 minutes left, and they'll take their chances on that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. If you think about a month ago or 2 months ago, wherever their season was, just talking about the odds of them even being there.
Yep.
Because, think about it. How could these guys ever come back here? Boston, Cleveland, who else? The Knicks, Indiana, they're in that mix, but you don't think about them. You don't think about them to be in that mix. But, like, are they able to kind of shock all those guys again? Miami.
Yeah, not to take anything away from the path here. They did have a couple teams that were injured that they did, overcome.
Yeah.
Obviously the
Cleveland
had was it Garland and someone else, right? That wasn't present during that. Then Dame Lillard blew his Achilles during that series.
Yeah, because even the Cleveland series, didn't Donovan Mitchell sit out a game?
Yeah. Mitchell was also hurt as well too.
Yeah.
So it's they played great, but also they didn't get every team's full 100%. You know what I mean? So, but they're running into a team that's a well-oiled machine right now, and they're clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And hey, give it to them though. They stole game 1.
Yeah.
So we can't really talk too much about them because they did what they were supposed to do when they take one game.
Yeah, I'm not going to give up on them because right now they are just playing with house money and they're just shooting it.
Yeah.
And it's bouncing their way.
Yeah, it is.
And let's just see if, this OKC right in front of our eyes could mature and go close this shit out.
Yeah.
Because it'd be impressive if they could go 5-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it very well could be though.
Because for them to go, it's gonna be wild in Indiana.
Yeah.
And for them to go over there and try to still do their thing, and because however Indiana, they're gonna get hot in Indiana. Yep. They're gonna get hot. They're in the finals. It's gonna be 2-2. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And just what are they gonna do next year? Like, would a player want to go to Indiana? Because if you're a megastar, like if you're a Durant, like would Durant fit in Indiana? Because obviously Halliburton's gonna be like second fiddle. It seems like he just likes to just let. Is he getting shut down? He's probably getting shut down somewhat.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, Halliburton's not your guy that's go out there and score 35 a night. You know what I mean? So he's not going to do that for you.
Yeah, and then the Sakium guy, he's just one of those clutch guys. He's going to give you 20 to 30 every night. Solid player.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I mean, if a megastar comes in there, like it'll be like their team.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and the other guys will just because then I think even those two, Halliburton and Sakium, they'll be like, yeah, do your thing. You know.
Yeah, I can
see because they gotta get another player if this is what it is.
Yeah. I can see a star, a vet being interested in going there.
Yeah,
because like I said, they majority got pieces. You know what I mean?
Obviously, their bench is good.
Yeah, that too.
Obviously, they're deep enough. They're just one guy away.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
One guy away.
I think most vets now they look for that bigger market though.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of them are really tuned into small market teams. Actually, both these are really small market teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think a superstar thinks of going to Indiana, because at the same time, like obviously they're gonna want a nice amount too.
Yeah, it's gonna be probably $300 million deal.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I don't know NBA numbers off the top of my head, but I don't even know if Pacers have anything close to spend like that.
Huh.
So, I mean, like I said, I don't know off the top. I might be wrong because I don't know. I never seen their NBA numbers as of recent.
I wonder if do you think it's just like the NFL where it's like a cap and they're all spending that kind of money?
I know the NBA cap is pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah, in past recent I haven't heard of any smaller market team really going out and spending.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that they just don't do. It's on Lakers, Celtics, just your main big markets are the ones always pouring millions into their teams.
Yeah, just like we're talking about it today at work. The shortstop from the A's, is it Jacob Wilson?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a Dodger or a Red Sox. One of those, huh?
Yep. Probably the closer too.
I think they're going to hold on him.
Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that shortstop, he's going to be the next guy, huh?
Yeah.
Because he hits and is he good at defense too?
Yep. I can see it happening.
At GCU.
I don't know how long Mookie's actually last at shortstop. He's having a hell of a year.
Is he still in shortstop?
Still at shortstop. He's having a good year though. Defensively, he's having a really good year. But I just don't know how long he's gonna be there for.
Yeah.
I think if they end up getting a legit shortstop, there's no question that they're just gonna move him back to the outfield.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they kind of had no answer for that, and so they just threw him there. But like I said, he's doing a hell of a job. But yeah, that cat from the A's could definitely be the next one to go to one of these big market teams, though, for sure.
Yeah, I wonder how long they'll hold on to him. Maybe 1-2 more years. Maybe 3 years from now.
Do you think any of these guys are trying to stay to wait to get to Vegas, or do you think they're just?
Nah, they're probably trying to dip out before they go.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you think that? Like, why wouldn't you think a team? Because like a player wouldn't want to go to a nice, big, new, shiny stadium, be the first one there, and
yeah, I mean, and then spin your wheels for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Now he's like 8 years in, or just go in there and be a piece.
Yeah.
Of one of the top 5 highest paying role.
Yeah.
I think, you go play shortstop for the Red Sox or go start off with the A's. And hopefully they try to get some guys coming in here. Do
you think that's going to be the case?
I mean, it could be done like Chavez. He wasn't really tripping about money. He just wanted to stay.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to bounce and go get paid.
Yeah.
So it could be that. Like, I'll just stay here in Vegas and just be the man here. I don't see them going to Vegas and actually having a crazy turnaround right away. All these other teams are still going to be deep. So, yeah, I see them bouncing.
Yeah, for some reason in my head, I think that's what they would try to do. I mean, when you see a new team moving a new home, new stadium, it's kind of like, why would you want to have that same old being like the laughing stock of the MLB? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your payroll's only like $20 million per year, whatever the hell it is, something crazy low. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you want to go to your new shiny home and just ball out and try to get the best roster you could? But I mean, at the same time, I mean, who knows? Maybe try to get a couple years under the belt and try to turn around after.
Yeah.
But I would think they would try to jump in with a whole new roster and trying to have just a crazy season for the opening.
Oh yeah, having a crazy roster, yeah, but I don't see that happening. It's not like, but shit, man. I mean, well, that was an expansion teams like hockey and shit. Like they started off in Vegas and they did well, But I mean, did the Raiders go over there ready to go with a crazy new roster? They tried. Yeah, I see how it'd be hard for, and the way they're throwing out these kind of money. Like if this guy is going to be one of the best shortstops, it's probably going to be, 400 or 500 million.
Mm-hmm.
If they're giving Trey Turner 300 million for 10 years,
yeah,
they're going to offer him 400, 500. That's what he's looking to get. If he's going to be this kind of a hitter, a 360, 340, 350 hitter, 300 plus, and he could play some defense, he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard for Oakland to kind of keep him and then keep other guys. So he'll be a loyal guy if he stays, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, even how dope they make the stadium, how nice they make his area, where he's living, that's not going to matter. When you give this guy $50 million a year.
Yeah.
And you got your whole outfield dope, your whole pitching staff dope. The Dodgers just won a couple championships. You're going to that team.
Yeah.
You're not sticking around with Oakland A's. I'll give you a shot. I'll give you here the last 4 years. Thanks for drafting me. That's why it's always good for getting drafted by the A's because you got well scouted. You know what I mean? And you just look at the long list of guys that went through the A's farm system, balled out, played good enough for the A's where obviously the A's can't keep them. The A's dump them for a couple dope 2-3 prospects that won't be around for the next 5 years. That guy goes get paid $300-400 million, and all of a sudden these prospects come up years later, and they just continue doing that.
But at some point that has to change, though, right? I mean, you can't just be a scouting team for the Red Sox and Dodgers
for the MLB for the high teams. And
I mean,
if you hit
forever,
if you hit, you hit, but. I mean, they lost Reggie Jackson and all those dudes because they didn't want to pay him, and those guys went to the Yankees.
Yeah.
And that's what, the 60s and the 70s, and then I don't even know who they had in the early 80s, but the late 80s, they had McGuire and all those dudes, and they ended up losing those guys. Yeah. In the 2000s, they lost Tejada and Chavez and shit. And then, so it's just, I mean, when is it going to change? I don't know.
I mean, because coming into the league, right, and you get drafted by the A's. I guess obviously you can look at it two ways. One way you just said, it's great because you're bound to possibly go to one of the biggest markets.
You're gonna get an opportunity.
Or two, it's like I want to win, and it's like you go there, and it's kind of like damn. You look around and like we're not gonna win.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can look at it two different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. To me, it's like being a professional sports. I mean, a lot of it is about the money now. But at the same time, you want to win, though, man. You know what I mean? So it's tough to see them always wanting to be that team that never, have a great built roster.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. That's why I think one day it has to change.
I mean, it's amazing when they do have those runs. It's some of the best baseball or atmosphere you'll ever have.
Yeah.
When the A's are on a streak and they're winning and they're going on a 30-game winning streak, or they're winning the West and they're going against the Red Sox or the Yankees, and fuck yeah. I mean, I guess it's worth those moments, once every twice, 3 times every decade. I guess that's what it's all being a fan. But it's like, you kind of get tired of it. And then, the owner doesn't want to, obviously then you get an owner that's not trying to spend, and then they bounce, so I don't think it's going to take time unless like you get like a team like the Dodgers, like Magic Johnson and those guys were like, we're going to make it fun.
Yeah.
We're going to make this shit dope. We got this group here. We're spending money. We're going to keep these young players. You know, if you have that kind of, you got to change that kind of scenery when you have the guy who's still there from Oakland going over there, just trying to just, you know, pocket his money. Yeah, they're not going to, these players ain't dumb because it's still a business.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, these guys are learning through college. Sometimes you're getting promised this, sometimes you're getting promised that. So, you know, thinking that these guys are just, yeah, they want to win, you know, but, you know, it's still a business. And, yo, wherever I go to, I'm going to, because I always find it, like a lot of teams, like even in football, like they're true to their college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, you know, yeah, we're against each other in the NFL, but we're Bulldogs, or, you know, we're Trojans, or, you know, whatever. You know, so I wonder what's their mindset of just that grind through college to get to your, you know, your goal. And, you know, that is just cutthroat up there.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, you know, my true family is how where my roots are at. But yeah, no, I think that just these guys knows they're built, you know, that's how you survive of getting that far of an athlete is dealing with the business part.
Yeah.
You know, it's just even, you get drafted to a shitty team or a shitty organization, but it's like, that's not going to stop your grind.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, you know, so I'm going to go and try and win this way, but if not, hopefully someone else pulls me out of this shit.
You know, when you were mentioning about the A's going on those crazy runs and stuff like that, how'd you feel about that one year when they traded for John Lester?
Man, we're in the Lake Tahoe World Series. Freaking tournament was going great. I think G hit a home. He's 10 years old. Hit his first home run at the Little Tahoe World Series against like some LA team. And we wake up in the morning and they get rid of Cespedes, right?
Yeah.
Or Lester. Yeah. They got rid of their heart of their order for another guy. I wish I could go back and see, you know, who else was in their rotation. You know, were they already deep? You know, because I can't even think of what years those were, you know, off the top of my head. But obviously, A's always have a, you know, a good staff. But I just think that took the mojo out.
Yeah. That
definitely took the mojo out of everything, you know. And those are just one of those players that's going to get you to the ballpark.
Yep.
Right? Especially Oakland A's, you know. Like, man, I love watching Tejada play and Chavez and those guys, you know. And getting Cespedes is just, man, same style, same passion. Kid has an arm, you know. And they dip him out. You know, for a guy that was going to be just a one and done.
Yeah.
He's going to be in and out, you know. And, yeah, knowing that, you know, I mean, maybe I wonder if it was Lester and a prospect, or was it just those guys straight across, you know? So where was Lester coming from? Was he coming from Boston?
Boston.
So Boston got Cespedes?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I was sick to my stomach in Lake Tahoe in a nice trip, and fucking that happens. Yeah. That might have been the last straw of me just like, man, how can we be loyal to these guys, man? You know, these are our favorite players that they're just dipping out, you know. I mean, I wonder what he ended up getting paid in Boston, where like the A's just couldn't afford that. Like, did he get a big contract ever, or he just kind of bounced around? Or
I think he did sign a multi-million-dollar contract after that year.
Was that with the Mets? I feel like he was in the Mets, but I mean,
no, he did go to the Mets, but I want to say he did stay with Boston, possibly, or maybe he did go straight to the Mets after. Yeah, but
that was a rough one.
I was just thinking about that right now. It's like, and didn't he lose game 1 of the playoffs too, like Lester when he pitched for Oakland?
I remember there was like game. I don't even know if it might have even been like a game 5. Like, yo, this is it, go win it. And nah, he lost.
Yeah.
I feel like it was against the Twins.
Yeah.
This is the year like they could have went.
Yeah.
You know? Or Detroit. What year was it? Man. Hey, look it up. Shit. Yeah, that was a heartbreaker, man. That would definitely one was.
I mean, you just mentioned it, like you take your heart of your order just out. That's like Dodgers losing like a Freddie Freeman. taking a Mookie, just take him out and trade him.
Hey, we're deep enough. Well, other guys will step up and step in. But just that electricity at the ballpark every day, knowing that guy's your teammate. It's not the same where the bench guys could go in and cover for him.
Yeah.
Moneyball bullshit.
And another headline news as a recent, Aaron Rodgers finally signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe a 1-year deal for $13 million.
Yeah, I wonder what took him so long.
He was in this dark cave shrooming, man. Just getting his mind and body right.
This is going to be an interesting relationship, huh? Him and Tomlin.
DK. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him and Tomlin.
Him and Tomlin and DK Metcalf, yeah. That's good. That's going to be kind of...
Who's the backup there? Where did Fields go?
Fields, he's on the Jets now.
He's on the Jets.
They actually play each other week 1.
Do they? Yeah, man.
It's like payback for both teams. I mean, Rodgers just came from the Jets, and
could Rodgers get them to the playoffs?
That is the main question everybody's asking right now. Could he get him 1 win?
1 win in the playoffs?
At least 1 win.
That is hard,
especially in that division.
Because you just think that one win is, what is that, wild card weekend? Wild card weekend, you're either going against the Broncos, Steelers versus Broncos. It's Steelers versus the Texans. It could be Steelers versus...
Yeah, they can even play someone in their own division.
Yeah, Colts. I mean, not Colts. Ravens. Ravens will probably be first place. But everyone plays.
Yeah.
Everyone plays except the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Right? So it could be one of those. And usually, most likely, if they make it, they're going to be 7th seed. So they're going to play the 2. The Ravens.
What do you think their record's going to be? You think they're big?
Yeah, they're going to be...
like 10-6? Or...
No. I'm thinking, shit. God, how are they going to get in? They got to be 12-5, 11-6.
It depends on everybody else's record, but I mean, coming from the division they're coming from, and they got to play Bengals twice, got to play Baltimore twice, and a revamped fucking Browns roster with 20 quarterbacks. So I mean, and all those teams, no matter what, no matter how many times or how much the Browns suck, they still give their division a good run for their money each game. So I mean, it's it's no promise that
you can never pick those. Like whenever you have those guys running, you already know it's like pick the kicker for fantasy.
Yeah, you gotta get Boswell.
Yeah,
Boswell's gonna give you fucking 15 points.
Oh my goodness! So he only won 1 Super Bowl.
Was he one of the greatest of all time? 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pressure, man.
A lot of pressure. So this have to be his last year, right?
Yeah. This is it.
Do you think he really thought about this situation like long and hard? Like, do I want to play 1 more year? Or do you think it's kind of like
Brady had a plan? Like he wasn't. If this doesn't work out with what we built here the last 25 years, I'm going to go somewhere where I know I'm going to win. Rodgers didn't have a plan.
I think everything's ended so weird in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, he had no plan. It was kind of like everything was kind of forced after that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of teams kind of skipped out on him.
Wonder where he could have went.
I don't know, but they were saying that Rodgers was actually 3rd option for Pittsburgh.
Really?
They said they originally wanted to keep Justin Fields, which I think is pretty much bullshit because they would have just paid him, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I think I don't even know how much the Jets paid him, but it couldn't have been a lot. I mean, because he hasn't really done anything, so it couldn't have been a lot. So they could have paid him. They said they tried to trade for Matthew Stafford, which I believe.
Yeah.
They said that didn't fall through. So they said this is what the 3rd option was, to go after Rodgers. And I think that's your 3rd option because now that's your only option.
Yeah.
Because you don't have anybody at quarterback.
And Stafford they weren't going to trade Stafford.
I think they would have traded Stafford for a crazy package.
Yeah, it had to be crazy.
Yeah, you had to way overpay. You know what I mean? It wasn't going to be just like something where it's like, all right, kind of considerable. It would have to be either a home run or nah, we're keeping him.
It had to be a couple first rounders.
Oh yeah, for sure. It had to be at least 3 and up. That was probably their ticket for him. Because they know that he's still capable of winning.
They got to be favorite to win the West, right?
Yeah,
the Rams.
Then the NFC West, right?
NFC West, the Rams.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any other team. I mean,
fucking Stafford. How old is that guy? Is he almost done? Was he thinking about retiring?
I don't know if he was everything about retiring, but I think he just.
I mean, you got to think he's Kershaw's age. Because they went to the same high school.
He was his catcher?
I don't know if he was his catcher.
I think that's it.
I heard there were dirt balls.
Yeah.
I worked with 2 kids that went to that high school. And they said there were 2 dirt balls. I think it was like a high-end school in Dallas.
They're from Dallas, huh? They're from Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a big school out there.
Didn't they go to like Christian school?
Yeah. It was like their Midi or their Bellarmine or
Dirtballs out there.
Santa Clara lost, dude.
Santa
My
Clara High
God.
School did lose, man.
Shout out to that whole crew, man. Fuck, dude. There's a lot of kids on that team that are from our program, you know, heavy contributor to those guys. You know, I was just talking to the catcher, Charles, and just like, man, dude, we proud of what you guys did, man. That's fucking CCS championship, and then to go to Reading, have a ring already, and then go to Reading, handle that, you know, second round, and then first round they beat Oakland Tech, handled that game, you know. And I want to say that Oakland Tech game, I think they were down 7-2.
Yeah.
So they had to come back from that game, and then to lose 2-1. You know, in the state championship game, fucking much love to those dudes, man. You know, I was just thinking about, like, because, like, in the beginning, we're kind of known of, like, a Briarwood or Wilcox program, you know, so we never really got, you know, any West Side kids, and that's just the other little league from Santa Clara. You know, we were never able to get those kind of kids, you know, and what opened that door was just one summer, we got the San Jose commit kid, Gutierrez, you know, G's friend. We got a kid, Honer, and Jace, the kid from Nevada. They joined the program, and all of a sudden it was kind of like okay to come through here, you know, and you know, and then, you know, eventually they get into high school, but you know, Jace goes to Santa Clara and does his thing with all those Santa Clara dudes, you know, and there was a wave, you know, when the boys were seniors, the Final Four in the De Anza division, I think it's the De Anza division, it's the main division.
Yeah.
It was Los Gatos versus Wilcox, Palo Altos versus Santa Clara, you know, so that was, 2 Santa Clara teams to be in that semifinal. And I'm pretty sure it was Wilcox, Palo Alto that ended up in that championship game, you know, but just thinking like, damn, that's dope. You know, that's dope. The 2 Santa Clara high schools, you know, are definitely representing, you know, and, you know, that was 4 years ago. That was when all those kids, you know, the boys were seniors, but some of these youngins were just still freshmen. Well, now they're seniors, and it's just 4 years later, you know, it's Santa Clara, you know, winning a CCS, their first one ever, you know, and then Wilcox, you know, going on a hell of a run, you know, and just fell short. You know, I maybe we talked about it, but you know, the Hollister kid is 0.00 ERA. I wonder how he did in the state.
They lost.
Did they lose?
I think they did lose. Yeah.
I wonder if he got the ball.
I don't think he did.
He didn't get the ball.
You know, one of my coworkers, his son plays for Soledad High School.
Okay.
Actually, you know, it's funny. His son, they played their first round of CCS against Menlo School.
No way.
And so Menlo School was up 3-0 on them.
Yeah.
They They come back tied 3-3.
Yeah.
Menlo School walks it off in the 7th or 8th or whatever.
Wow.
So they lost 4-3 to them.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, those guys are like cockroaches. And fast forward now.
They made it all the way to state.
They made it all the way to state. And they beat Santa Clara 2-1.
The crazy thing is game 1 for Santa Clara is, from what I heard from Micah, shout out to our boy Micah, 1 out to win the game. Santa Clara pops it up to the infielder, and he clanks it. That would have been ball game. Santa Clara goes home. I don't know, a fact check, but I'm pretty sure that's what I was told.
Oh, man.
And so that's how, and then they went into extra innings, and they end up winning. So they, 2 destiny teams, right? Fucking Menlo and Santa Clara. Yeah. But Menlo must have been saying their prayers or something.
Yeah. From what I've seen and from what I read, Menlo has his freshman as a pitcher, and that's pretty dynamite. They said he's pretty good.
Well, I don't know how dynamite he is, Gilly, because they said that it was like just kind of a nubber. Like he really wasn't throwing hard, and these guys were just trying to kill the ball instead of just, because even when Hollister played Wilcox, RJ was pitching great. You know what I mean? He's not matching the kid 90 miles per hour.
Yeah.
He's maybe like whatever he's throwing, but you could see the difference. And it was a little bit in the beginning hard for Hollister to get going, but then there's like, okay, let me just figure out this curveball. Let me find a way, but they had to find a way on RJ, and instead of just, I'm going to just hit this out of the park.
Yeah.
If you go with that approach on RJ, like a lot of teams did, this year, he wouldn't have been as successful, but, a lot of these teams probably try muscling it out, and, he's going to chew you up if you're going to try doing that.
Yeah.
The kid knows how to pitch, so, but yeah, man, shout out again to those 2 teams, man. Fucking definitely did their thing out there, in high school baseball, high school sports.
Yeah, shout out to Santa Clara High School. Congratulations on that season, man. Great season. Next year, come back strong, bounce back year.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Coach G, so today I posted on Instagram a couple questions. Everybody have any questions, hit us up. We got 4 questions back. We got about like 10 questions.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pick up about like 4 from people that asked.
All right.
One of the questions, pretty good question. If college NIL, has it changed players' hunger for the game? Like, do you think the money's getting in the way of them actually trying now because they're getting millions already?
Yeah. I mean, you got to think about it, right? Because all these years they've been kind of getting screwed. Like they're just thinking Reggie Bush, right? Like, kid wasn't getting paid, and he had to go sign autographs to try to go get paid.
Yeah.
So always just looking at that of just, some of these, they're getting free school, and, some of these schools and these scholarships are changing these kids' lives, at the end of the day, like, there's got to be some type of balance, especially nowadays, nowadays that everything's getting, fact checked, and everything's getting, everyone's checking who's making what. It just kind of makes sense for, these guys to get compensated for what they're doing to the sport, especially right now. If you look at all around, I don't realize how cool watching the College World Series is. This last 20 years, we've been watching, college softball World Series, and little did we know that, the baseball's doing the same thing. And little did we know that Stanford is probably hosting these regionals for the last, 15, 20 years. And some of the best of these baseball players were in our backyard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I think it's good for the guy who decides to go and stay his senior year because he's going to get $1 million. I think that's good. Granted now, but then it's going to be like, well, when I get to the Senior Bowl, I'm probably not going to play. Or once I get to the Best Buy Bowl, I'm probably not going to play. But for the most high percentage, if these guys are going to go in for the Natty National Championship, you're going to see those dudes play.
Yeah.
So, man, I like these guys getting paid. You know what I mean? If it's some, McDonald money, You know what I mean? If it's, all the friends and family buying jerseys, for these kids, because they get a certain percentage, I'm all for it, so I just, yeah, it's kind of sucks sometimes, because going back to how we say like, um, how like the college guys stick together, because they know that grind, maybe that takes away from that. Maybe that takes away from that because, one year you're a Bulldog, but the next year, you're the quarterback of Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, how many guys are doing, small percentage of guys are doing that.
Yeah.
So you just got to hope, honestly, that a lot of these college athletes, these student athletes are just that have a good team around them and they're getting guided.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the same time, you want them to get their money and also their money on getting their scholarship, because if it doesn't work out, you got something to fall back on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just, yeah, man, hopefully you have the right team together and, shit doesn't fall your way. Just don't give up and, go find another place.
Yeah.
You're there for a reason. And,
yeah.
And so I'm all for it.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because like, what's his name? Quarterback for Texas that just got drafted this year, Ewers, or is that how you pronounce his name? Or something like that?
Yeah.
They said if he would have stayed in college, he would have weighed $6 million.
Wow.
But his contract now is only like $800,000.
$800,000.
Yeah, but at the same time though, who knows what he could be? You know what I mean? So,
but see, now he still has to prove himself in the NFL, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you think about it, he got paid the past 2 years in college. I mean, so he's already has his money.
Yeah.
He's comfortable for being how old he is. You know what I mean? But like I said, who knows? Maybe he could get a bigger contract now if he proves himself in the NFL. Yeah. But I mean, that's just a risk that I think everybody's gonna have to take though at some point. You know what I mean? So
from whatever level, if it's I'm getting that the highest level of that, do I stay back to make $6 million, or do I not gamble on myself and let's get out there now? Or there's kids where I'm splitting a scholarship with 4 other kids.
Yeah. I think honestly, he wouldn't have left if Archie wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was gonna lose his job to Archie if they would have been in this year. If they would have both been in this year, Archie have another whole year under his belt.
And why not go to like the guy from Georgia that went to, where's he at? Miami now?
Beck.
Yeah. Like, why did he leave? Does Georgia have another dude coming up that was going to take his spot?
I'm not sure exactly why he left.
Because that's the name of the game now. It's just you have all these colleges with all their alumni that have just big pockets. Well, hey, let's go pay for this next quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Like those Texas dudes, they won Archie over here.
Yeah.
And that's what. So like, is that a bad thing? Right? Like, think about it. Like, it's okay, but if it's like the wrong people doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if it was Dion and his boys doing it? Is it wrong now? Like, Dion's, he's loading up Colorado when, yeah, I love it. Yeah. I love it. These guys are getting love because you don't know, man. You don't know how hard it is in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
And even baseball too. Now, I mean, I doubt kids are getting, any of these college players are getting that kind of highs of millions of dollars because how hard it is to get into the major leagues. But the softball girl in the College World Series pitching for Texas Tech, she got $1 million to pitch from Stanford to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And those girls are not going to go to, a crazy, MLB or NBA league. They're going to a startup softball league that's just starting to get going.
Yeah.
So you got to love that, seeing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's cool, man. I think it's cool.
Question number 2. What's the worst fan base you came across?
The worst fan base? Oh.
Let's just say what fan base can't you stand?
I mean, it's gotta be like the Giants fans. Even though like half of my family love the Giants, to me it's just like the not true Giant fans.
Yeah.
That's always been rough on me. But like all my Niner fans, they're all trill, like they're all real.
Yeah.
But they do talk a lot of shit, and they do have good shit talking facts. It's hard. Like when you see, especially like when the Philly and the 49er rival go on and fucking Jerry Rice is flipping you off with fucking 4 rings on his finger.
Yeah.
It's like, he can do it. But to me, like thinking about it, like out of my little friend group, man, these Eagles been kind of keeping it up.
Yeah.
These last 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
Like you got something to look forward to. Like, yo, we got a Super Bowl to watch who's playing. Philly's in it.
Yeah.
I guess Niners been in it a couple times, but, didn't win.
Yeah.
Freaking Raiders. We remember that day on Amethyst. Fish turned off the power.
And spit on the
floor. I couldn't do it. I was like, yo, man, if Philly wouldn't lose another Super Bowl, you just spit on the floor? I don't think I can do that.
Shout out to Fish.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, it's just, just because it's more closest to home, obviously like Philly and Cowboys, that's their main rival.
Yeah.
But I don't live in Philadelphia, so I'm not in Philly where there's a whole bunch of Cowboy fans that are Cowboys fans. I'm over here on the West Coast, grew up an A's fan, Battle of the Bay, so, because just even thinking like, if you're our age and if you weren't like going to the Giants game because of your parents and you decided, you know what, I'm shooting for the Giants over the Bash Brothers. Like, I don't understand how you don't root for Ricky Henderson and, Dave Stewart, Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire. That's why it even kind of gets you sick watching the A's play now because there's a 25 and a 33.
Yeah.
It's like, how are they giving up those numbers? But yeah, as much as Will Clark's a dog, and Matt Williams is like, am I going to root for Matt Williams and Will Clark and those guys or the Bash Brothers?
Yeah.
It's, so. Yeah, grew up an A's fan, and then, at the end, these guys winning, 3 World Series, that killed me, but I don't care how many Bay Bridge series the Giants would ever win the A's. It's like, as long as the A's swept those dudes in '89, you really can't beat that.
Yeah.
That's
the ultimate bragging right there.
It's just like my good old, like my Armando, my grandfather, diehard Raider fan, and how many times the Eagles would beat the Raiders if they ever played them, or always the Eagles always been better than the Raiders these last 20, 25 years. It'll be like, oh, they beat you in the Super Bowl. 1980. He says the Polish rifle was shooting blanks. Yeah, Jaworski.
Ron
Jaworski, yeah. So that's just what it is, man. The A's could rock leaving the Bay, just knowing that, there was a real team here because they beat them in the World Series, So,
Thanks.
But yeah. Shout out to the Niners and Giants fans. You got you.
All right.
That's a good one, man. Those are 2 good questions.
Question number 3.
What about you? Who do you do not like?
I hate the Giants. I'm sorry. Like I've got a bunch of Giants friends. Like the same thing. No one in my family is a Giants fans.
Yeah.
But I just can't stand them. I think it happened at a young age when me and my Aunt Gracie took me to Candlestick.
Yeah.
And took me to a Dodger Giants game.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago. I'm talking about Raul Mondesi.
Oh, nice.
So we're over there. She was wearing her Dodger jersey, and we're leaving the game. And this dude from the second level poured a whole beer on my aunt.
Wow, no way.
Covered her.
Oh, man.
In beer. And since that day, I'm like, these guys are fucking dirtballs. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like,
you gotta cross the line.
Yeah, like if you were to do that to a dude, all right, cool. But to a woman though, yeah. So
damn.
Since that day, I'm like, man, no.
Yeah, that hate will run deep.
Yeah. So it's a little different for me.
Yeah.
But I really truly hate those guys though. But it is what it is, man. Question number 3, kind of interesting. Who was the better number 24, Kobe or Ken Griffey Jr.?
Damn, man, that's a tough one right there, huh?
I like this question.
Yeah, I like it too, because I mean, growing up, Ken Griffey, is always your favorite player,
and sweetest swing in baseball, right?
And just after, because I kind of never rooted for Kobe, towards the end, and you kind of put me onto his shoes, you put me onto his shoes way, way before, they were really, really cracking. Man, this is a tough one. Can I just take a shot and just say both?
Drink champs stuff?
Because it's like if I don't pick Kobe, I don't know if I'm ever gonna hit any Kobe's. And I think just the tougher one too is man, dude, that guy died. Fuck, man, that's just.
I mean, but take that factor out.
Yeah.
If you were just to get,
I mean, yeah, just thinking about that. I mean, Kobe is a champion, and Griffey, we never really got to see his fully capability of him, because he got injured a lot. But, in the short time that we got to see Griffey, it was just, a game changer. Because, I mean, look, I could be rooting for the Bash Brothers and still, fucking have a Mariners hat.
Yeah.
Or having your hat backwards, going to the ballpark. Mm-hmm. And even always, every time you go to the store, you're going to the baseballism store, you're going to go get a Griffey shirt or something like that. So I got to go with Kobe. Yeah, damn it. Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah, I thought that was a really great question that they asked, though. When I first seen it, I was like, man, I never really thought about it. And I just thought, like, oh, yeah, I forgot that Ken Griffey actually wore 24. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, shit, that's a pretty good question. But I think I wasn't really in tune with baseball at a younger age during Ken Griffey's years.
Yeah.
So I can't really say that I watched him a lot.
Yeah.
But Kobe I watched from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I always thought the number 8 Kobe was a little better.
Yeah.
Because I think he's just young, reckless, just talking shit. I mean, as he turned 24, I think the 24 to the end of his career he was more mature, and that mattered to him more.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have Shaq no more. So everything after that was so meaningful to him.
Yeah.
And so it was personal. That 24 was personal.
Yeah.
So I like the number 8 Kobe, but and for that question though, I have to pick Kobe.
Kobe,
with 24.
Yeah.
And actually, this question actually kind of goes along of the lines where you're saying, Ken Griffey got hurt, and it goes for other athletes too.
Yeah.
Could you still be one of the greatest of all time without winning a ring?
Wow. Yeah, probably not.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be hard.
So,
because who are those guys?
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino. I mean, I don't look at him as the greatest of all time. Like Charles Barkley's and Karl Malone's. Karl Malone ever win one, or he fell short when he was with Peyton and those guys?
Yeah, he tried to go on the Lakers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you could be a greatest of all time.
No. So
that's an easy no.
You literally just have to. You have to at least win
let's
one
go
championship.
win one. Yeah.
What if they say, for instance, like someone like a Karl Malone couldn't win it on his regular team, but if he won it on that, say if the Lakers would have won on that super team with Gary Payton and all them, would that change for him, or would that be he won that because he got on that team?
I'm trying to think like who could be one of those guys where you can put him up there with Jordan, LeBron, or
Allen Iverson.
Oh, did Bonds ever win one? Bonds never won one.
Bonds never won a World Series.
And to me, he's the greatest of all time right there. So fuck. Yeah. Yeah, right there. If you're that guy. Yeah, you're that guy. Like, to me, Bonds is, man. It's crazy because when that would be always my conversation with the side of my family where the Giants side, my dad's dad. Every time we talk baseball. My grandfather, and he always told me from day one, yo, your boy Griffey's good, but this guy Bonds is on a whole nother level. And this is like Pirates to Giants just beginning. This was way before, big head and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so that was always like our little rivalry. Every year we talk about it, and it totally proved me wrong. Where I think you could be the greatest because to me he's got to be the greatest of all time in hitting.
Believe so?
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Without a doubt. I mean, in my lifetime, Gilly, you couldn't throw a strike by him. It was gone. It was gone. Like it was that little box was probably the hardest strike zone to throw to against him.
Yeah.
Damn. Like to me, those matchups, like, can I see one-on-one with these two dudes?
Yeah.
Like seeing Bonds going against like some of the dopest pitchers would be like dope to watch. You can never watch it, but Bonds, yeah. I think he's the exception.
So going back to that question then. So you're saying it could be possible then?
Yeah, it could be possible. But see, like we're talking about, like is Bonds the greatest of all time all around in baseball? Like, what is that list to people?
The greatest of all time?
Yeah, when they say like the greatest of all time, like in basketball, it's obviously Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, right? It's usually around those guys, and some say Bill Russell or the older cats will say that. But it's those that you say, right? So when they talk about baseball, is it Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron, Reggie Jackson?
I think a lot of people refer to Babe Ruth as the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Bonds is kicking his ass.
I mean, that's the thing too. Like, that's why I don't really get into these conversations because the level of competition from then to now.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine. Like, I'm just gonna throw a name out there. Imagine Kershaw pitching the Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
He's smoking him, right?
I'm thinking so. Unless he has just amazing hand speed, but see, like I think Hank Aaron's crushing Kershaw. Like maybe some guys were just freaks, and they could hang, but
like, do you think? Like,
but yeah, I mean, if he's throwing him a slider or a curveball or something, yeah.
But just okay. Put about this, like Aroldis Chapman in his prime throwing, or even today, he's still throwing 103.
Yeah,
is Babe Ruth keeping up a 103 fastball?
Because he was probably going against like 85.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
What were the speeds? Does anybody even know the speeds back then?
I don't even know. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, I don't like these.
I think that's the next. I'm going to ask that question. Like if I go to Cooperstown or something, ask them, hey, what were these guys throwing back then?
Yeah.
Do we have any idea? Was anybody throwing? Like, obviously, Nolan Ryan was throwing 100 miles per hour in the 70s.
Yeah.
He had to be gassing it up. But we're talking about the 40s and the 50s and the 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially these guys were just smoking cigars and drinking booze all day.
Well, no, they're carpenters.
Yeah. But, I mean,
like, they'll go to, this guy's painting in the daytime, and then at nighttime, he's playing right field. You got the milkman playing second base.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't really look at.
He's probably top 4, top 5.
People, but I can't say that Babe Ruth's the greatest ever. You know what I mean? I just can't.
So that's just Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Reggie Jackson. I mean, did Hank Aaron ever win a World Series?
The Braves?
I wonder. Because that's probably, if he didn't win one, if Hank Aaron didn't win a World Series, he's got to be one of the greatest of all time. So, yeah, to me, the answer is yes. It's got to be yes. There's going to be some exceptions of some guys that are just really, really that dope, that just changed the game.
Yeah, Hank Aaron won a World Series in 1957 with the Milwaukee Braves.
So you got to say he's better than Bonds.
Yeah, they beat the New York Yankees in 7 games.
Yeah, he's better than Bonds.
Hank Aaron's better than Barry Bonds?
Hammering Hank. I mean, he's up there. That's who he passed in home runs.
Yeah.
So he has that, and he has, Hammering Hank has to be number 1. And then Bonds is 2.
Wait, would Willie Mays be on that list? For one of the greats
Willie Mays, yeah. Jeez. Willie Mays, what was 500, 600 home runs?
Yes. That list, I haven't really seen an all together list of who is the people consider the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
But to me, it's hard to call those guys greatest of all time because of levels of competition.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. People can kill me on that if they want.
I think if you play at least from the 70s and up, you're facing some nasty shit. And you're able to play, if you're able to start in the 70s, and go and hit 500, 600, 700 home runs. You obviously played in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And it's the same thing. Like they say, yeah, Babe Ruth was even great as a pitcher. But then I'm thinking, like, I think Ohtani and Judge would be scared. Babe Ruth, bitch. They're fucking teeing off on them, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know because we weren't there in real time. We actually don't know. But it's just from what I think of.
Yeah.
I just think it's not possible. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I like those questions though, man. Those are good.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that tuning questions. I mean, that was really cool. But we got a lot of people that's active on our Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Always contributing, doing our polls all week long and whatnot. So shout out to everybody on there.
Yeah, shout out to freaking Coco Golf, man. Winning. I think it was the French Open. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. They're over there in Paris.
She's a stud, huh?
Yeah, man. She's dope. She's dope, man.
How old is she? Like 22, 21?
Yeah, she's in her early 20s, and the girl that she beat is a girl I usually root for.
Yeah.
Right? This is Sabalenka chick, and dude, and once you get Sabalenka like flustered, man, she starts talking herself. She starts cussing out her box, and the first set, like it was just Sabalenka was just smashing through it, and then Coco just stayed with it. Coco was about to like come back and upset her, and fucking, Sabalenka wins the first set, barely. Like you thought Coco was gonna go there and steal it. Like fuck, Sabalenka still ends up winning this shit, and then after that it was like done, game over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, she did whatever she can do to win that first set. But, Coco was. And if you look at Coco, like you look at her, she's fucking, looking at her box. She's yelling. She's screaming every time she hits the ball. And you're looking at Coco, and she is just fucking laser focused, dude. Yeah. It's like, damn, because I guess it's my bad. It's like the first time American won like in 15 years. Like good old our girl Serena Williams.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, because since I've been watching just like the major ones, these are the major ones, like the Wimbledons and French Opens, US Opens and shit. To me, those are interesting because they're playing for 2 weeks. So you're all these damn matches you guys are playing to finally get to where you guys got to get to, and getting into watching these last couple years is like, dude, I missed out Serena.
Yeah.
All this domination of her, because in the men's side, there was these 3 dudes, Nadal, I think it's Djokovic, Novak, and there's one other guy, I'm trying to remember him. And they would always win. There's always win. Well, now those dudes are getting old. Serena's out. So now it's these young bucks, and fucking on the men's side, they have a little fucking Italian dude center, and Carlitos is the other Spaniard dude, and that went 5 hours.
Yeah,
that went 5 hours, and Carlitos fucking won that shit. So
just imagine watching Andre Agassi play back then.
That's what we're talking about because we went to work.
He's all coked out, and
his
kid, he's
yeah. It's like I was talking to Roman at work, and he was telling me about it, and the other guy jumped in. He was like, "You remember Pete Sampras?"
Yeah. Well, that was his biggest challenge, right? I mean, towards the end of Agassi's career.
Yeah, I feel like Pete Sampras had him. Because I'm trying to think, like, did Agassi dominate? Or was he just the loud, flashy Nike guy? Like, was he winning all the time?
I think the Vegas kid was dominating. He was dominating.
Like, he was one of those Ken Griffey stars, like in the 90s, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Good old Andre Agassi. He won and stole Steffi Graf.
Yeah.
Those long legs. It's good old Andre Agassi, man.
Oh, yeah.
One of those first stars. Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to them, man. Fucking winning that shit. That was dope. It was kind of it felt like a slow week of sports, right? But it was like, yo, the French Open's on.
Yeah.
It always it'll sneak up on you.
Yeah. And I was watching Coco play with me. She's badass, man. And for being as young as she is,
handled that shit.
I mean, she got fucking years and years just dominating, man.
I wonder how it is to be like, yo, I'm gonna sign with New Balance.
A lot of athletes going that route.
Yeah.
I mean,
right?
Otani's went that route.
That's right. Yeah. Because it's funny because like
I think even Bryce Harper is a New Balance dude. I think so.
Yeah. Because like all the kids, all in baseball, New Balances.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And G would wear them just because he needed that wider shoe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a little bit more comfortable. A lot of, the Nikes are narrow.
Narrow, yeah.
And we have Coach Louise, who I do is a baller catcher. And he's always just swagging. He's like looking at all these New Balance shoes a few years back. He's just like, and he rolls up in some like Jumpmans, some like Swingman Griffey Nike fucking cleats.
Yeah.
I was like, and when you see those, like, those are fucking dope, right? And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm not gonna wear these like New Balance old man, type of shoe.
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess like New Balance is in now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you go get kids are spending $150 on some New Balance white tennis shoes.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, is that because they remind me of like the Wave Runner Yeezys? Like they're all just the grandpa style, old white tennis shoe.
Yeah.
And it's just a little fresh. They're a little fresh, but yeah, I know, man.
I remember New Balance and Rich Paul actually did a collaboration.
Did they?
And bro, back when I was reselling a lot of shoes, that New Balance shoe,
that one hit,
which I was getting for like $120, I was flipping like $300.
Damn.
And people was buying left and right, bro.
Wow.
But I mean, they just look like basic shoes with an N on the side. Like, ain't nothing to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, they're a little bulky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the females are wearing them too. You know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy how that just, I mean, I guess it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because like when Kobe went with Adidas early, he's like, yo, what are you doing? And then he eventually went to Nike.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Actually Nike, I mean, Kobe was actually getting ready to leave Nike.
Yeah.
He was actually in the process of finding or making his own shoes himself. He was getting a company ready, developed to mold his shoes exactly how he wants it, and he was gonna come out with his whole own line, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. But yeah, man, but he was about to leave with them.
Yeah,
I was thinking about it like, oh, that would have been cool, but at the same time, like, nah, because we wouldn't get everything we got now.
It wouldn't have worked.
Nah, it wouldn't have worked. So,
when are the next Kobe's coming out? Is there any new ones coming out anytime soon?
You got his newest ones will be the Air Force Ones. There'll be Air Force Ones coming out. It's like a beige and purple.
Okay.
And I don't know if you ever seen the photo of him when he has a broken right hand. And he's sitting there at the free throw line during practice. And he has like plaid pajamas on.
Yeah.
The shoelaces are that plaid color. But that picture is on the insole of him shooting with his left hand.
Yeah.
So it's super, super dope shoe. It'll be out June 24th. So that'll be the next one. But
June 24th. Yeah,
June 24th.
Man. Definitely got a hit, man.
Yeah, got a hit on that one. It's a super, super nice Air Force colorway. You can't picture it until I show you the picture, and then you're like, oh, that shit's sick. So it's kind of.
I'm feeling that color though. That sounds dope.
Yeah, it's like a beige and purple.
Yeah.
Then the shoestrings are like a thick lace, but it's like a black and white checkered.
Huh.
It sounds weird, but when you see it, you're like, oh shit, that's pretty dope.
I got yelled at by a coach this weekend.
Why?
Not yelled at, but like he kind of like I don't even know how to say it. Like a lot of teams that I coach, like our kryptonite is when we play like the hyphy team. Because we'll be the hyphy team, but we're just, I asked all these kids their grade point averages. They're all 3.8s and 4.0s. So it's hard for those kids to get hyphy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just kind of like the whole, if we're out here quiet, it's not going to be it's not going to be good for us. So getting these kids to talk, even like when your kid throws a strike and just, yeah, That's hard to get out of a kid, and so whenever we play, basically us, aggressive running, stealing, they're gambling. Like you'll go against a team where the coach don't want to gamble the kid stealing from first to second. You know what I mean? They don't want to get him thrown out. I want this kid to hit, but we're the opposite. From the younger age, we're stealing bases. Like even right now, that De La Cruz sliding mitt, I still have it. I never gave it to nobody. Mm-hmm. And I told our team, whoever has the most stolen bases, you're getting this one. So it's like, and I'm telling you guys, hey, if you get it, if you can go. Right. And I got a couple guys that are figuring it out. And I kind of had to adjust it. I adjusted because I got my leader's leading.
Yeah.
Right. He has 11, but he got thrown out 4 times. Right. So I feel like there should be a deduction for getting thrown out. Because like you can't be reckless.
-2 points.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I said, every time you get thrown out twice, it's going to be -1 point. So
basically minus a base.
Minus a base, yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, it's like one guy has 11 minus the 2, so he's at 9. One guy's 10 for 10, 100%.
Damn.
He hasn't got hit. And then I got another guy who also has like 9 or 10 with 1 tournament left, and so, I mean, they're fighting for it, but, so we're playing a team. It's 8:00 game, 9:00 start time. Cause it's hella late, hour after late. We're over there on field 9 or 10 where it's windy and dark. So it's just, don't put the ball in the air cause it's not going to go far. It's like one of those old Twin Creek nights when we would go play softball.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we would know, this is too windy to try to hit a home run. So just start, finding a way. So game 1 was great. Game 2 is we're playing, Hayward area, and their fans are cracking, and like this is how you want your fans to be. Every base hit, they're going loud.
Yeah.
Every strikeout, because They threw their dude game 1. Their game 2 was a must win. Our game 2 was a must win, and their dude struck out our guys 9 guys, dude, in 72 pitches. And I was just like, yo, man, if we're gonna see this guy all day, let's work this guy's pitch count. Let's get this guy in and get this guy out.
Yeah.
And he was at 60 pitches in 3 innings, so he only went 4. And then they bring in this little nubber, and we're trying to hit home runs, and like we're not getting in. We end up tying that game. But, like they were like, siéntate. Like they were like, they were on it. And like, as being a coach, a part of the job is like, yo, that's not disrespectful at all to me. They're just, rooting on their team. But I got to be my energy or this is going to go shit. This is going to go downhill fast. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, look, I got to pump up my kids. My kids are loud. And one of our kids struck out a kid, and I said, bye you. And that was a no-no. That was a no-no.
So that's all it took?
That's all it took. Because that's what the kids, they go, Louisiana, bye you. And I got to ask Jim this, man. We got to get Jim on the podcast, bro. Definitely. But I got to ask him, like, yo, is that like the secret word? Because you see the other day when you tap your hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, did I say something crazy? Like you guys, your parents are telling my kids, siéntate, sit down. We'll try to pick off, not today. But it's like, I'm embracing all of it. Because to me, this is not disrespectful at all. And I'm just doing my part. And, these kids are 14 years old. These kids are all high school kids. Our kids are 13s playing up with the 14s. And we're at the part of the month where some of these high school kids that are freshmen could either wait to go play 16s or I can get a last tournament at 14s and go dominate.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are young men.
Yeah.
So when I said that, one of our guys hits the ball to shortstop, and fucking my third baseman's playing shortstop, overthrows. And what he's doing, he's double pumping it. And when he's at third, it's a hot corner. Like he's chapped. Like he'll get off the floor, turn around, fire it, 100 miles per hour across the diamond, strike right to the mitt.
Yeah.
But when he's at shortstop, he has more time. He's double pumping it, and airmail. I was like, gee, we went to a showcase in Arizona, the biggest one, right? And the kid fucking plays first base. And Greco puts him at third. And G's like, yo, I'm not even a fucking third baseman. Why am I fucking playing third? And yo, just shut up, kid, and go play. Like, yeah, get out there. Well, the ball gets smoked to him. He makes a great play and fucking throws it 50 feet over the first baseman into, like, the other field. And Jim's like, well, if there was any scouts, they would know he has a good arm. So my kid overthrows it. And the coach turns around and looks at me and goes, E6. Oh, my God. And I go, yeah, you got it. And he goes, E6. Like, he was like, and I was like, yo, we good? He's like, yeah, I don't like how you're saying Bayou to my kids. And I was just like, that's, man, it's just saying Bayou. I mean, I'm just trying to match your energy for your parents. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to pump up my kids. I didn't know that was disrespectful at all, and he just like, yeah, well, I'm a coach, and I would never say that to a kid. I would never say, basically you're saying strike out. But I'm just like, yo, I mean, they're 14 years old, and I think this is why it's hard for me to coach this age. You know what I mean? Because even some of these boys, like I got one kid on the team, the kid has so much heart, but it's like my voice is like kind of running thin on him. He's like, yeah, Coach George ain't going to make us run. Or, if he makes me run, I'll just go run. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm over here trying to pump these dudes up. Like, yo, blah, 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 trying to get on it. And he's over here fucking making faces behind my back here. And it's like, and that's how I knew from a long time coaching G's teammates, Mateo's teammates, is, what, they do get tired. They're ready for a new voice. So it's like I give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But it's like when we're at practice, you ain't trying to listen to me. That's when we get to that talk where I got another kid where he kind of feels like I don't like him because I don't remember his fucking name, and it's like a tough one. It's like Santino or whatever, and he's like, it's Santino. I'm just like, look, dude, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's like we got so many kids and yo, by the end of the season, I'm gonna know all of you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I said that, so I was just like, damn, now we fucking better win this fucking game because now dude's mad at me, and we end up tying the game, and it was like, yo, we're done. We got eliminated Saturday night. If we didn't win this game, we got a consolation game on Sunday, and then we go home, win or lose.
Yeah.
And these guys just got in. So they're all, that's the cool thing about Living Legends. We're going to get their effort, best effort. You beat a Legends team, that's big for them. So they're celebrating like it was a fucking 7-game World Series. And I go home at night, I look at the bracket. We got the consolation, and so did they. So we had to run it back, right? And we had to run it back, but it was not windy. It was and dude, we smoked them 11-3, right? And the little smirks were going back and forth the whole time, right? And all in all, dude, it woke up our parents, because there's sometimes where our kids will throw a strikeout and like no one's going crazy. Like, yo, man, my kid cooked for fucking 7 innings, gave up 1 run, we tied, and fucking, so. And there I go. We're at the end of the game. It's 11-3. And, I want to, fucking, twist it a little bit. Right. And we needed maybe 2 more outs to win the game. And it's like 11-3, 11-2 or whatever. Last inning. Ball gets hit to my shortstop. Fucking shortstop throws a strike. And I go, E6. And the guy looks at me, and he's looking at me, dude, and I'm like, dude, why can't you just shut up, dude?
So what made you say it though?
It's because like, yo, we better, because it was a 5-0 game, we were winning, and it's like, yo, dude, these guys could come back anytime, right? Like I didn't want to lose last night, and I don't want to lose this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it was a good weekend overall, 2 good games. We're at the part of where, yo, just play good baseball, and And, and you're going to get chewed out. I'm yelling at them all. But at the end, you know what, guys? You guys played great. Yeah. You know what I mean? You guys are 13. You guys are hanging with these big dudes. Fucking great job. You know what I mean? But I'm going to call out, fucking ball getting smoked to left field and my guy from third running forgetting to tag.
Yeah.
I'm calling that out, and that's driving me crazy. So I go E6, and then I see him looking at me, and he's just piercing at me. And all four of them, like even at the end of the game on Saturday, like some of their dudes didn't even want to pound me, like even their coaches. Like they just walked by me, didn't even fucking shake my hand. And fucking, so we need one more out. Ball gets hit to my third baseman, and he has all day, and he goes in triple pumps, throws it over the fucking first baseman. And I think he's going E5. God. But it's like, I'm glad we got the fucking last laugh here because, going back to hustling, going back to talking, that's what we needed. And then just the whole moral of this story was, you know what? Like, we just handled these guys 11-3 in a consolation game. That should have been our semifinal. Now we're in the championship, but instead, fucking couple base running mistakes, a couple ball, not confident enough in talking, kind of held us back. And, hopefully that was like kind of like the lesson. We should still be playing. I know you love this shit that much. We should be playing. And when you have some of the kids that are not as locked in as you should be, you know what? You need to start kind of checking your teammates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to get on it because, like I was just telling the kids, like at the young age, man, it's not about the hitting coach, pitching coach. Obviously, if you're working hard, competing. You know what I mean? But it's just having the confidence to come out there and play the way you practice at that young age. And if it's just a Coach Jim or a Coach George pumping them up or one of your football coaches that are pumping you up, that's something that, pops or your uncle is telling you the same shit and just over and over. But, Coach George could get me riled because I can't pump up Melody or G. Beat it. They're telling me to get out of here. Don't try to ruin my experience, But for other kids, I get a kid to hit a double, and getting that kind of love from your teammate goes a lot farther than getting that, that confidence from your coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So it was just the moral, man. It's like, man, we could have won and stole the show out here. We're the only two Legends teams playing this weekend. Everybody's watching because there's a lot of dads that love this shit. That's like, there's no basketball. I'm not really trying to watch this French Open. Let's see if any living legends are playing. And they could go on a website and see one of our parents recording our game. Oh, cool. So if we go and buckle a 10-0 lead, they're all watching that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but shout out to our squad, man. I think I got just one more tournament with them at the end of June, and then that's a wrap. The Coach George experience with those kids, 10s, 11s, just going through, some crazy baseball journey. 12s going to New York and fucking balling the fuck out.
Yep.
And then now they're getting ready for high school and,
yeah.
Pass them on to our high school dudes.
That's when it really kicks off in the high school, man. It's
yep.
competition and everything got to ramp up 10 times more.
Yep. So, hell yeah.
You know what? I think a lot of kids don't realize or actually a lot of kids don't appreciate a coach until they get older.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I felt that was for me when, back when I played football. I didn't really care for a coach.
Yeah.
X amount.
Yeah.
But then after going forward, thinking back, like, hey, this dude just wanted the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just was telling me the correct way to do things, and back then I just didn't want to listen, or it was just like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, like you shouldn't be like that with any coach, because at the end of the day, they're just doing their job.
Yeah.
They just want to make you better. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of, especially at a younger age too, like where you coach, they probably don't realize the importance of it until they're gonna get older and like, oh shit, Coach G told me that shit when I was fucking 13, 14. You know what I mean? So
and you're trying to be where you're not in ninth grade and you're like, fuck, he was right.
Yep.
This is why I got to sit a whole year.
Yep.
You know, and just kind of going back to my point, because now I just grabbed my point. I lost it because I go a million miles away. Is, you know, like one of the kids is like, yo, he probably doesn't think I like him, but when I stop talking to you and getting on you because I feel like it's going through one ear and out the other, maybe that's the time where, you know, I'm not showing you the right, you know, practice or the right love, because it's just going through one ear and out the other. When I'm constantly getting on you, man, that's, I'm just doing my job out here.
Yep.
You know, so, but yeah, man, fucking don't say bye you. Louisiana, bye you. I got to ask Jim about that one, man. I don't know if they were just being petty, just like how I'm always petty, you know. But yeah. But, you know, fuck it. We end up getting the dub.
All right, Coach J, I think it's going to wrap it up for episode 18. Any last words before we get out of here?
This is 18 or 19?
This will be 18.
Are you sure? I feel like last one was 18.
Nah, let's go back and look. I mean,
I thought 18 was on Friday.
Because the last one we had was episode 18. I was 17 with Labubu.
The Labubu was 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's jumping weeks.
It's going by quick though, man. I mean,
hell yeah,
18 already in the bank. So
hell yeah.
Any last comments before we head out?
Nah, I think we good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and see you next week on episode 19. And we out.